Hello, it's Walter here, and I had a little bit of time, so I was going to record another episode of me learning how to play StarCraft. And this one's going to be a little different than the last one I recorded, in that I think this time I'm going to slow it down a little bit more and be a little bit more detailed. I think I wasn't really pleased with the way I kind of sped through it last time. I didn't really think it helped me or anybody that was watching. This one, this is a 2 versus 2 match. I'm the red Protoss right here. My ally is the blue Protoss right here. His name is Paul. Actually, he's known as Damon right now, but that's not really a screen name. He's my friend Paul, and he's actually a lot better than me at this game. I wouldn't call him an expert, but he's not horrible. We're going against this. This is, by the way, this is a Bronze League match, and is me and Paul are in the Bronze League. We probably should be in Silver League, but there was some qualifying things, and we're not, but we're actually pretty up there in the Bronze League. We're going against purple Terran down here named Wicket, and we're going against a teal Terran named Tio. So it's 2 Protoss versus 2 Terran, which is pretty interesting. Now, when I say these matches are, learning to play StarCraft, I don't mean like the very basics, like, oh, I can build probes with a Nexus, so congratulations. This is more like learning how to get good at StarCraft. I mean, I'm kind of assuming that you've maybe played 1 or 2, quick match style games or something. But anyways, I'll still try to break it down a little bit. So right here off the bat, obviously, everybody's got their initial worker unit already being built. Right away you always start off with 50 minerals, which is enough to build a unit. I don't know why that's not automatic. I mean, there's no reason not to build that first unit right away. There's nothing else you're going to do. It's saving up for a supply depot or a pylon before you even pump out your first unit. It's just pretty stupid. So I'm going to go ahead and push play here. Let me keep this tab open so you can see where everyone's at. Wicket there with the good luck, have fun. I really hate, it's not like I don't like it when people say good luck, have fun at the beginning of it. I just don't like having to stop what I'm doing and type, when I'm trying to think about all this. I feel like it's almost distracting. Sometimes it makes me make some pretty stupid mistakes. So right here, they're now working on their 8th SCV, or unit or whatever. Production, oh, it's not production. That's interesting, me and Paul are the first ones to drop a supply unit. We're dropping our pylons. Terrans typically drop it a little bit later. They wait till they start out with more supply. Protoss only start off with 10 supply. Terrans start off with 11. So they're going to drop their supply depots at 10 supply consumed, whereas Protoss will usually drop it around 8 or 9 supply consumed. So you can see both of them dropping off. They're going to wall off right here, with a typical thing with building some supply depots and a barracks, so that we won't be able to send scouts up here to see what's going on. They did it pretty quickly and efficiently, really. Me and Paul are just doing some standard stuff right now. We got our gateways going. We're throwing down some pylons. You're not going to see any text communications between Paul and I because we do use Skype, so you're not going to get to visually see our strategy, and I'm not even sure if I'll remember what we were thinking at all times. So Paul's sending out his scout to see what there is to see. They're actually not sending out a scout. It's not very typical of team 2v2. Usually somebody always sends out a scout. And as you can see, he went straight to here instead of around to the ramp. That's because he clicked his unit up there, and the unit's actually blocked off. It knows that it can't go up this ramp, even though Paul doesn't. But yeah, he's trying to send over here to this ramp, but yeah, he's already blocked off. So there's the SCV, and he's going to engage him in a little skirmish, and he's going to run away. But yeah, he was just trying to see what we got. So there's already a couple barracks being thrown down. 2 for Tio, only 1 for Purple. Purple's he's operating a little bit slower, but he's going for his comsat station already. Both of them are. Meanwhile, Paul and I'm using Chrono Boost on a gateway. I'm just throwing down some zealots. I have a gas. I'm still training some probes. I have a pretty good amount of probes going on. I got 18. Paul has 19. The Terrans only have 15 in SCVs, so they're a little bit behind probably in resources. or income rather. Yeah, me and Paul's income is higher than these Terrans right now, so we kind of have an early advantage in a way. Let me go back to the production tab so you can see what everyone's working on. Paul's researching the warp gate tech, which is what allows these gateways to be able to instantly teleport units into the battlefield instead of having to train them. He's also got his probe out here trying to hold the Zelnaga tower to get vision, but Teos already has the Marine to chase him off. I'm going to speed it up a little bit now that we got the intro out of the way. So here they're doing a pretty basic setup of rushing out some, well, Marauders it looks like for purple. He has all these tech labs going on and a reactor to pump some Marines pretty quickly. And then over here, pretty good saturation on the SCVs. If we look at units, we'll see that they have caught up to us in terms of how many SCVs they have. They're only 1 or 2 behind us in a couple places. So back to production. I wonder if I've even started researching Warp Gate. No, I haven't even begun researching Warp Gate. Paul's got his. Paul just finished his Warp Gate, so now you're gonna see him convert his gateways to Warp Gates. Oh, he must not have noticed because he just had to train another unit. He didn't notice he already had his Warp Gates down. What is going on? Why are those guys running around all over the place? Let's look at the vision here and see what these guys can see. And right now I'm on Teo's player cam. That's what's going on. He's got these Reapers that he was using to. He was doing some what's called. He's doing what's called harass, which is where he'll send a quick unit early in the game up to our mineral line, and with the goal of trying to take out as many of our probes as possible and weakening their economy. I think I was letting Paul know that I was going to take the expansion over here because the way this map is set up, there's only one natural expansion for both players to fight over, and then the next closest expansion is way over here, so I'm having to kind of go really far over to take that expansion. Not very easy to defend it, but I don't really think that ever really becomes a factor. Let's look at our armies right now. I have a small force of some Stalkers and Zealots, pretty 50-50, but oh man, he's using those Reapers to harass pretty well. He's done some pretty significant damage to my probes. I have a Twilight Council which can use either charge research or blink research for these Stalkers and Zealots. It makes them a little more effective in battle, but I haven't researched those yet. I don't know why I'm a little lacking on my research here. I don't even have gateways. It's pretty pathetic of me. I'm still in the process of researching gateway, I think, or at least I just haven't converted those Warp Gates. Yeah, see here what I told you, it was difficult to defend this expansion. They've already taken it out before I even got it up and running. So we used our army to go out there and try and nail it, but it was too little too late. Right now I'm looking at everyone's vision. You can see that we did take out what was there of his army, but so we're actually massed right here. It almost looks like if we had sent everything in right now, we would have had a chance. Now the way this one worked out, we actually made a blunder here in a few minutes. I think you might see it. That really kind of cost us the match, I believe. Here's Paul. He's got an observer in. He's seeing what's going on. A lot of barracks everywhere. He's really massing these Marauders and Marines, which are called M&Ms, Marines and Marauders. They're pretty basic bio ball, which means it's a cluster of biological units. They're relatively cheap and easy to mass produce. As you can see, not really very effective against our army here. But here's where we make our mistake, and I'm going to pause it. We make our mistake right here. I'm the red army, which is these Zealots and Stalkers, and Paul is controlling these Zealots and Stalkers over here. Now, right now, we don't have vision up into this high ground area. What that means is, now we've already sent scouts up here. We know what's there, but right now these units, there's no none of our units are up here in this area right now, so these units can't see over the ledge that's right here by his base. So we can tell that there are units up there, and we can see that they're going to attack us, but literally this unit can't see what unit is up here if you looked at it on a scale of what they're looking at. Now, what that means, though, is that these units can see us. So all these Marines and Marauders that are up here, they have full vision of all these guys just kind of clowning around. And our thought was, okay, we're going to move in, and we're going to try and blink up here to the top. Paul had this observer right here that you see, and he was going to use that observer to get the site that we needed up here so we could blink up, come in from behind and take his base out, and at this point probably do some pretty significant damage. But as you can see, there's this missile turret right here that is really hammering away on this detector. It's only got 36 health left. All its shields are gone. So when I push play, I'm going to go back down to regular speed. I'm going to push play, and that observer is toast. We now have no vision, and we are now right along this line. We're just getting picked off by all these marauders that are up here. You know, he's got the medevac, which heals him up pretty nicely. Really, we would have kind of had a chance. The Marauders are really effective against the Stalkers, but the Zealots are effective against the Marauders, and vice versa with these Marines. So we matched up against their army pretty well, and if we had just been able to blink in right here, this would have been a totally different fight. But when we see it play out, instead we're making a very glaring mistake of just walking along this cliff edge, letting them take pot shots at us the whole time. Kind of milling around here, like really ineffective strategy. Eventually we decided, okay, we're going to come down here and take out what we can of these SCVs, you know, try and damage his economy. But at this point, you know, he's already got these Marauders coming in with all his Marines. They're just picking us off. Our units are already, our forces already been halved. My guys are gone. You know, all you see that's left is blue. I have one Colossus. Colossus are effective units against armored units like Marauders. The problem is I've only have one of them, so he's not really going to make much of an impact. And the other effective thing about Marauders, though, is that they can only take 10 damage at a time. So as long as they have their shields up. So he'll last pretty long in the fight, but he's not going to be able to make much of a difference against all of this. Now, I still got it paused, so I'm going to show you some other stuff before you see our army get completely wiped out. I did go ahead and set up another expansion up here. Again, I have no way of defending it yet. As you can see, I finally did upgrade to my warp gates so that I can warp units in pretty quickly, but I don't have anything going on. You know, I've got this army down here. I've already lost it all, actually. All that's left is this Colossus. My resources, I have 1,700 minerals, you know, 900 gas. That's enough to start rebuilding my army. I'm just not doing it. Always need to remember that whenever you're sending out a force to attack, that's great. You know, micromanage that force. Make sure you don't make dumb mistakes like we did, where we just walked along this ledge without any vision while we were just getting torn apart. And then, you know, I'm not even going back here to macro manage my base. You know, I'm not building any units here in these robotics bays. They're sitting there completely dull and empty. And then I'm not even doing anything over here. This probe's just sitting here. He should be mining some of these minerals. And in this Nexus, which, you know, it's not blinking or flashing or anything, so it's not even training any more probes. So I'm making some very costly mistakes over here on my end. Paul, he actually has this expansion right here. It's the natural expansion he took. His saturation is not so great. He's got only 9 probes right here working. You want 3 probes per mineral field to have an acceptable saturation. He does not have that. So we kind of made some blunders here that cost us the game, but particularly this fight. If we'd used the Stalker has the blink ability, which is researched here at the Twilight Council. The blink ability lets them basically teleport really short distances. It can get them past buildings, past units, and over ledges as long as they have vision. Again, really dumb of us not only to not have vision up there, but also to just walk along this ledge and let them take us out. You know, right now we can't even see whatever units are up here on the top of this ramp. He's controlling the ramp. They've really got us by the toes. The only thing that's left is all Paul Stalkers, and you can see they're not going to last very long either. We didn't even take out all the SCVs that were down there. He just retrieved them all back up here into his base, keeping them. He's gonna keep them safe right here until you know, our army's cleared. Then he'll send them back down. You know, here's his SCVs. We did nothing. All we did was lost a lot of units. We look at units lost. We actually, in terms of units lost, we didn't do as bad as they did so far. But the fact that we didn't have any army left to replace it, he's still got these guys here, these M&Ms that are moving out. He has his SCVs still intact. We didn't even damage them too heavily. A lot of costly mistakes. I'm going to speed it back up again so we don't take too long. As you can see, me and Paul in the process of slowly rebuilding our forces. I'm throwing down a couple more warp gates to get units in quicker. Another pylon. I might have supply blocked myself. No, my supply is pretty good. I'm training some Immortals. I think I called them Colossus earlier. These are called Immortals. I'm training them to think that I'm going to counter their Marauders. Probably not the world's greatest counter for Marauders, but they work pretty well. And Paul's got these zealots. I think he's just using them to see if he can control the rich minerals up here. But look at this. Here comes his Marines. He's stemming them. He's microing them pretty well. He's doing the old procedure where you take the Marines. It's called kiting, where you attack, run back, attack, run back, attack, run back. It works really well against zealots because the Marines will be able to get a lot of shots in before the zealots, who are melee, have the chance to attack. However, his zealots have this ability called charge, which allows them to sprint forward very quickly, and it kind of is able to counteract the Marine kiting technique. But he's using the stim packs, which increase the movement speed and firing rate of the Marines. So it's still a pretty interesting, evenly fought match. Except once the stalkers come in, he doesn't have much of a chance left with those guys. So you see them get wiped out. He's got a few more units coming up, but they're just going to get toast. Paul's setting up another expansion down here. As you can see, Paul is definitely a better player than I am. He's got that's his third expansion going on. I've finally got this one a decent amount of probes going on here, not as much as I should. Now I'm a little oversaturated here on my main base. Most of these mineral fields have been depleted, and I still have a pretty hefty number of probes pulling from them. As you can see, Teal has actually lost the most units so far by a long shot. He's the one that he's been kind of carelessly sending out his army in small pieces instead of all together, which has cost him a lot. Purple looks like they're going to try and expand. Oh no, Teal's expanding into the heavy mineral field base. Except Purple's units are in the way, so he's not able to land it. There he goes. And Purple here is really the one that ultimately wins this fight in the end. He's got a massive amount of Marauders, and then he's got a lot of these Thor too. Thor are awesome. They're really big, heavy units that do massive punches to both air and ground units. A lot of armor. They're just a really strong unit, very difficult to take out. The Colossus are good counters for them. The only problem is I just don't have enough of anything. The Marauders eat the Colossi up. It just wasn't a very good matchup. That Marauder combo with the Thor is very, very effective. As you can see, he's going to come over here. He's going to make short work of Paul's expansion. And really from here, this match is all but over. My expansion's pumping away here. I'm really feebly training up some Colossi and some... I keep saying Colossi. Some Stalkers and some Immortals. We're going to go over here to try and stop that from being taken out, but it is way too little too late. His force of Marauders and Thors was too heavy. We look down here at what their base looks like. Again, we threw in the towel right there. We had a lot left up here, but we knew there was nothing we could do about it. He had control of the map. This rich mineral field source, huge army, 3 expansions for Purple. Just 1 for Teal. That's probably why Teal did kind of poorly by comparison. We probably both had higher scores, but look at this. I mean, he was just too good for us. Lots of bunkers, factories. Lots of barracks and factories. We were very much outplayed here. And then, like I said, it was that stupid decision there in the middle of the match that we could have possibly really tipped the scales. We just didn't do a very good job of micromanaging our units, and that's what cost it for us. So there's really 2 sides of StarCraft. There's the macro management side, where you're controlling your income and your bases and building your army. Then there's the micromanagement side, where you can control your units on an individual level, make the most of their abilities, like Stim Pack and the Stalker's Blink ability that lets them teleport. And also just paying attention to the battlefield, retreating when you need to retreat, using smart tactical decisions instead of walking along a base and just getting creamed. So that was our second one. That was actually that's my second video. It's going to conclude it. That was actually the first match that me and Paul had lost, and I think we had a 6-match winning streak going into this one, and we lost it. So it's kind of dejecting, especially since we lost it by some pretty stupid mistakes. But that just goes to show you that I'm definitely not going to be winning most of these videos that I show you clips of here. So again, thank you for your time, and hope you've enjoyed this.